What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another interview with Kickin with Kachi, where we highlight individuals that are taking the industry by storm. And today, we have the pleasure, the honor, and distinction of sitting down with legendary musical artists all the way from Indiana, Indianapolis. Lons, how you doing, my boy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. How about yourself, man?
I cannot complain as I'm sitting here talking to a nice individual like yourself. So,
Appreciate that.
but obviously, everyone's gonna ask, and they want me to ask, where does Lawns come from? Because I know you posted it and you was like, everyone asks where it's come from. I'll let you know soon. Is it
Yeah,
soon now, or are we still gonna
I
have to
mean,
wait?
I don't mind. I don't mind talking a little bit about it. So, lines is like each letter means something, and that's kind of how I came up with it. Lines is life of no sound, and
Ah,
the reason I named myself Life of No Sound is kind of going back to when I first started music. So when I first started music, I was in a real deep, dark place. I had just went through some stuff with my family, lost a few family members. My younger brother is incarcerated. So, I had just went through a lot in one small moment, or one small timeline moment. So it just kind of struck me at once, the pain and the grieving and different stuff like that. And I kind of had to answer to myself. So, I would sit in a room most of the time and really just hear nothing. Like, it would just be so
right.
silent. But I would think in those moments, and so many images would come to my head, and so many moments of my life would come to my head from those moments of no sound, no hearing any voices, or just nothing going on at the moment. And it created so much inspiration for me to grind harder, to go harder for my family, um, to inspire others, to learn how to motivate myself. So that's why I named myself Life in No Sound Lines, because my whole life I feel like the pain, the grief that I had went through was those, in the moments that I felt it the most were the moments where I would sit in my room and I couldn't hear anything. So that's where most of my sound comes from, is those moments of silence.
And I would say it's an interesting transformation in coming from a place where and one, condolences for family members that you have lost, and definitely praying that your brother can see freedom and see the outside world in a time that's sooner than later, right? And I can imagine, right, in coming from a place where you may have a lot of those family members, a lot of those people in and out of your life, all this noise, all this activity, to then just silence, right? Like people, they're just not there anymore. And then coming into now making music, how did you find a passion for now this life on no sound to finding your own sound? You
Right.
saw what I did there?
Yeah, okay, I mess with that.
I'm something of an artist myself. I interview them from time
Right.
to time.
I see the wordplay.
You know.
Nah, but I guess what really got me into music, I guess, was there was a moment in college where, because before college, or before I got into it, I never even thought about doing music. I never thought like, hey, let me try music, let me rap, let me sing, let me do, like, my mind was on basketball because I'm 6'8". I
Wow.
don't know if you can tell, but I'm 6'8". So my whole life was just basketball. You feel me? And so I had a roommate that, in college, his name was JB. Shout out to him. He and his cousin was doing music at the time, or I think he was just really monitoring his cousin doing music, and he was kind of just tagging along. But he had asked me one night to come to the studio, and I didn't know if I was really interested, so I said no. And then he kept on asking, like, it was just like, come on, bro, you might as well just slide, bro. It's gonna be a
Right,
vibe, da da
right.
da. So I ended up sliding, and just watching him work, just watching how the process went, was something I fell in love with from that moment of just being in the studio, being around the music, being around the production of it. It was just a different feeling, a different vibe. And so I went back to my dorm, and I started writing a song, and the song was terrible. Like, it was
I was gonna
garbage.
say, did you got the lyrics still? I hope so.
Man, I had to grow out of that phase. Let's just say that there was a lot of moments where, I felt like stuff was good and it was just not good. So, now I've grown a lot from that moment. But just in those times, that I think that's where I fell in love with it, was like the grind of, like, man, this is terrible right now, but this is gonna get so much better
Right,
if I
right.
keep on going. So, and I think even from the first song, it was terrible, but like I think people could hear like the melodies that I was going with, could kind of hear the flows that I liked. I was at the time I was just writing courses, really just cutting courses,
Right, right.
and then maybe later I'd throw a verse on there or some shit. But that was really what I was like into, was kind of just writing, the writing part, and getting into it. But that's kind of what inspired me to really do music, was like that moment in college that like I realized, damn, this is something that I love and it's something I could do.
And how did you develop your individual sound? Like you said, you didn't really go into rapping, you didn't really do singing. If you guys didn't know, Lons is a pretty great singer and a pretty dope rapper. So what did you have to learn to make yourself better? What did you have to learn to say, okay, maybe I'll take this from this person or this from that person and shed this off? Like, was that sort of the process you had to go through?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think not listening to a lot of the newer music kind of helped me. Like I would say I listen to a lot of 70s and 80s music.
Oh
I
wow.
take a lot of inspiration from like DeBarge and like New Edition. Just like the backs, like the people singing in the background, even like kind of helped me to make melodies for my backgrounds, and how I want things to sing, and how I want, you know, words to line up and different things like that. I take a lot of inspiration from that, because my parents are from an older generation. So, I'm 23, but like my parents are 60, like they're in their 60s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like they grew up in the 1970s and the 80s, and so that was what was played in the car growing up. So that's kind of how I found my own sound, was having an older generation of parents who instilled like really I would say that soulful music, just really soulful
Right.
music, and it made me kind of tap into like my true emotions with still being strong with what I do. So yeah, that's kind of where I got my own sound from, was like tapping into the old school stuff.
And like we talked about collaborating with good friends and going to studios, and then I assume eventually becoming a regular thing where you guys are going to the studio together, right? And then if a lot of people don't know, your name is Lons, but then you're often referred to kind of mistakenly as two PB Lons, right?
Right.
That two PB in the beginning of your name, adding to that collaboration you have with your good friend. So speak to us more about what does the PB stand for? Even I know, but for the audience to know, what does
Right.
that stand for, and how did that develop, and what sort of mission or sort of vision do you guys have for that collective?
So 2PB is two prong baby. So that's something I came up with a long, long time ago. I don't know if it's something that I'll stick with, but it's just something that inspired me at the moment and made me think about like how you think of a charger. Like, how you
Right,
plug in a charger into the wall. It's like a plug-in, and you only plug your phone up when you really need it, when you need to be recharged, when your phone needs to be
right,
recharged on full, and then you unplug it. And I thought about it as like, that's kind of how I feel like people was using me at the time, was like they would plug me up, or they would plug in their phones, or they would plug in their life to mines when they would need inspiration or motivation or somebody just to talk to. But then they would just leave me there. Like they would go off and do their thing, and they wouldn't be there for me, or um they wouldn't need me after that. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And I kind of felt like that was kind of how I was, in a sense. Like that's how I was being treated. So I just came up with Two Prong Baby, and that's really where I started with the music stuff, was like this Two Prong Baby movement that I had came up with. So
And then I would also say, like, I asked you already, like, but you kind of definitely touched on your influences and things like that. Are there any new? Actually, you say you don't listen to a lot of new age music, but are there any new age music that you sneakily or that is on your radar because they're just that good that you kind of like, oh yeah, like I really do like their style, their flow, or you just learned something about cadence and timing from them as well.
right. I would say, if I had to say new school, I mean, really the underground stuff is pretty cool right now. Um, I like Sofago. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
his
right.
music a little bit. Um, Autumn. I like his music. Um, Trying to think, I really like rap music a little bit more than people probably think I do, even from what I
Really.
sing and stuff like that. I really do. Like I used to be a big fan of Gunna, um,
Hmm.
a big fan of FCG Heem, Saw Baby, Shorty Shorty. Um, that's really like Shorty Shorty, really like one of my favorites. Like people don't
Really?
even know. He just so different. Like I don't know. He just different to me. I like different type of if I'm gonna listen to it now, I want it to be something that is like soulful in a way, but it's still, it's still some new age stuff, but it's different. Like, and I like
Right.
to listen to stuff that's like real different, people not really doing. And I think Shorty Shorty right now is doing a good job of doing that. So I really like his music. But yeah, as far as the new age stuff, that's really kind of who I'm into for real.
Nice. And I was gonna say, like, with your singles out right now, you got 5 singles that honestly, we're in June now, so I think you pretty much did a single a month almost that you
I
released
tried to.
this
Yeah, I tried
this
to.
month. So I want to start though with Admitted, right? Because seeing the music video is probably like for an underground new rapper, new artist, getting a set that's not your hood or the woods or anything down the street is very, very hard. I know when I was back in New York living with guys and my friends were making their music video was up the street in front of the house. You know what I'm saying? Just because we
Right.
couldn't pay for that studio space, that space at the time yet. So what was the experience in, and if you guys are troubling to what I'm alluding to, Lons did his music video in a hospital ward, right? For Admitted. Don't know how he did it. He's about to tell you right now because honestly, pun unintended, that's insane.
Man, we went through so much stuff with the process of Admitted. But to kind of touch base with it a little bit, basketball really opened up so many doors for me, which is why I'm thankful for that journey and what I went through with basketball. But it had opened up so many doors for not only me, but my brother too. And my older brother, he knew a videographer that was coming from IU East, a basketball player out of there, and he started getting into videography, or he became a videographer, and he had connections with the school that he was connected to through basketball, and
Right.
they had like a nursing program that they had, and they had just allowed us to use their facilities because of the relationship that they had and how they built that through basketball. So
Wow.
we were able to get into that nursing program, and it looked like a real hospital. I feel like he did a real good job of making it look like real, and in that moment, like it was kind of just, like in that real setting. And just through connections, getting us in the doors of places and things like that was kind of how we got that video to progress into what it was. So
And then you have 4 more songs dropping: Miss Me, Dead or Alive, Danger, Endless Drink, right? All these drop, Endless Drink being the most recent drop of your music. Congratulations. When is the
thank you.
album coming out? As I think your fans are probably asking for.
The album is something that is still in the works. I think right now I'm just trying to build that core fan base of people who
Right.
really believe in what I'm trying to do and making this global. So, right now I think I'm just feeding singles out, giving people what they want, kind of just learning even during that process my sound and what sounds I really love, and what type of music I really love. Because the music that I've been dropping right now is more, I would call more R&B-ish, kind of R&B-ish pop, a little bit of
Yeah,
pop in
right.
there. For the things that I have in the vault right now, I have so many pop songs that, I think people don't even know that I could really tap into. So I think it's just the fact that I'm trying to learn what sounds I really love and what sounds I think my fans will really love. So with that being said, I think the singles right now is what I'm going to be dropping for the next few months. And then maybe an EP will be coming soon. So that's something in the works for sure.
And I would say, like, in developing your sound, what do you want people that are coming across this video, getting to know you, learning more about you, what do you want them to know about your music? And what type of music do you like to make?
Um, I would say, man, a lot of this stuff is really emotional. I think if you're going through really bad depression or really bad anxiety, or you're really just facing trauma that you're really trying to deal with, I think that that's something that's hard for people not to feel through my music,
Right.
or at least ways to get through it. For me, man, I know how many dark moments it was in the studio, even making music. Man, sometimes I burst out in tears because what I was saying was really real. Like people don't understand that about music. It's like if you're gonna make it, man, make it make it in a way that you really trying to connect with people. Cause I
Right.
don't just go in there and just get to talking about nothing. Like, especially when I've never experienced it, or because it's just like I'm just making stuff that's not genuine. How can anybody connect with that if you can't even look me in my eyes and see that I really went through something? So, for me, I would say I want people to really know, like, when I make this music, this is emotional for me. This ain't something I'm
Mhm.
just doing. This ain't just something I'm putting out. This isn't like I'm not playing about this. This isn't stuff I'm just trying to slop together and throw y'all something. Like, nah, man, like this is really deep to me. And every time I drop something, it means something to me. Deeper than music. Things I went through in my personal life. I may have dropped it just because I just got through this and I learned how to get through this. And so I would
Right.
drop it. So for me, I just want people to know, like, I mean what I say. It may be metaphorical, but that's to connect with my audience. That's to connect with y'all and to hear me out and to see what I'm really saying. I want people to feel that. And sometimes I'll create that image so you really know what I went through, regardless of if I'm drinking something that's endless. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even with back on my release with Endless Drink, man, I don't drink. I don't
Right.
drink like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't. But I feel like the image that I created with Endless Drink portrayed what I meant. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, yeah, I might not drink, but there are things that I do to try and get through certain things that I can't stop myself from doing because I'm trying to get through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to deal with the emotions and the things that's going on in my head. Maybe I did just deal with a breakup, somebody leaving me from my side and not understanding, like I meant no harm by the mistakes that I made. You know what I'm saying? And so with Endless Drink, I was trying to create an image for people to see. Nobody's here through my day-to-day life besides me. So it's like, if you can't connect to that, then what does that really mean? So I tried to show an image that I feel like people can see, people can imagine, and a lot of people can relate to. So that's what I want people to know about my music.
And I would say, like, in creating music, because you don't make service level BS. You're not one of those artists, right? You're one of the artists that is, when I'm driving down the street and I hear your song, I'm like, she really loved me, man. And just let go of the wheel. I'm kidding, but
Bad.
but music that really hits you in your gut. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
does pouring all that emotion, all that personality by meaning your personal experiences, your personal life, right? Personal trauma as well. Does that make making the music and knowing it's going to be released harder or easier? Knowing that it's genuine to you because it's your feelings, but damn, like I'm really sharing a real vulnerable part of myself to the world. Does that make it easier or harder?
I would say it definitely makes it harder because I could say easier, but to me, genuinely, me, it's not easier. To other people looking in, it might be like, man, he's dropping a song that he really messed with, that
Right.
sounds good, that this, and that. But to me, it's even harder because I know how much trauma I put into the song that I put into another image so that you could see it that way. But for me, it's like I hear the song and I'd be like, every time I hear it, I go back to that image of what happened to even get me in the mood to make that song. So for me, it's harder. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely harder to try and portray those images that I am, but I think that it just makes me stronger, and so that's why I keep going. I mean, it just makes me stronger. It helps me get through what I'm trying to get through, and I guess that's really what I'm trying to say. Is like it's definitely harder, but it makes me stronger for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful, especially as we're talking about men's mental health specifically, and seeing these outlets that we have and our lack of outlets that we have, right? And
Right.
given that music is such a traditional outlet for us, especially as Black men, to express our feelings. I also know that for me, those of us that can't really express our emotions through music because we're just not sonically gifted, we appreciate those like you who can, and definitely bear your soul out to the world and taking that hit, taking those bullets, so that we also can feel seen, feel emotionally heard as well. So we thank you for that as well.
For sure, that's love, man. I appreciate that.
And if you guys also don't know, like, aside from the admitted music video, all you do is just song music video, song music video. So are you into the visual media? Is that something that we also would probably see from you leaning more into? If you guys don't know, he's also like an actor. I don't know if this is like just because you're in the music video is your song, but I really be like, yo, he really is like acting this thing right now. Like, is
Right.
that something that you know you also kind of want to lean into in the future? Maybe of a couple cameos, maybe see you on the TV screen.
I mean, maybe. Acting has never been one of my strongest suits, I would say, but I always been built for the camera. I mean, when I was younger, I was in school, and I used to do like that's what I went to college for. So I was doing mass communications and
Okay, okay,
journalism, and I was trying to get into being a sports anchor. So that was what I
right.
really wanted to do. And so I would be on camera and stuff, but like acting and all those things wasn't necessarily my strong suit. But the creative side of the videos was like my favorite part, and I
Right.
think that's why I dropped so many visuals with like the singles, is because I genuinely enjoy the creative process of turning this into an image that people can see and really understand the words so they can comprehend it better. So, I mean, you may see me on the big screen just because that's like I love to create those stories. So, I mean, we'll see.
And I know you talked about your possible EP, but like, is there anything concretely or anything that you want to share about things that we should be looking out for in the next, well, I guess in the second half of the year?
So in the second half of the year, I've got some strong singles that I'm gonna drop first that I think is gonna really stamp like what I mean by the emotional side of my music. I think a lot of people gonna really connect with a lot of these next few songs that I'm gonna be dropping, and of course they're gonna be followed with visuals. That's just me, but as far as an EP goes, I've definitely got some songs um, that I think people will love. And I'm ready to put that together, ready to start getting that in emotion. And I think by the end of the year I'll have an EP ready for sure. And I think people gonna love it. So
Nice, nice. So, before we get out of here, I definitely want to like ask a couple questions because I noticed a couple things. One, if you guys look on Lon's page, he's always wearing a beanie, right? And it's always a different one. Do you have a favorite beanie of yours?
favorite beanie, I'm trying to think. Uh, I mean, really, I just go with the all black joint. That's really like my favorite one because it go with everything. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? I got
okay.
the white joint too, but the black one it hit different. Like I think even when I go back to my music videos, like my music videos, I try and create like this darker feeling.
Right, yeah.
Just because that's like I like that to me my aesthetic.
Hmm.
So the black beanie I think just suits me in all situations, all environments. So that's really that's my thing.
It's like his Superman cape. It's like, all right, we're locked
Yeah,
in. Yeah.
yeah, that's my Superman cape for sure.
So what's your favorite basketball team? Since I know you was a hooper, I don't know if it's the Pacers because you out there in Indiana, but
Man, bro, I just follow LeBron. That's really my thing. I don't want to be calling no bandwagon or no crazy thing. You feel me?
I
But
mean, if he's been the number one player for the last 20 years of your life, it's kind of hard not
yeah,
to just follow the
you
guy.
feel me? It's like, man, I'm a Cleveland, Miami Heat, Laker fan for
Right.
real. It's like wherever LeBron go, I'm a fan of. So I mess with LeBron. I've become a KD fan. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I watch the Suns here and there. I used to watch the Nets a little bit, but I just
Uh-huh.
like exciting basketball. That's all I really care about. I'm not really big into like a certain team.
Team,
I just like
right.
exciting basketball when we can watch a game and it's like exciting back and forth challenge and like that's
Right.
what I see. So I don't know if I have a specific team, but
Yeah, I get a lot of people was like, yeah, I don't want to watch this team. My team isn't playing, but I'm like, and it was like, my players aren't playing. I'm like, what you mean?
yeah.
Like, Cam Thomas might go for 40 today. You never know. Like,
My boy Cam, yeah, he a
I'm
bucket.
saying.
He definitely a
So,
bucket. Now I be peeping the teams and stuff. It's just I never got into like following teams, bro, because I'm more of
right.
a player type of dude. Like I like certain players for sure.
Right, exactly. Like I could tell you who like my favorite players is, and come from New York, obviously Knicks fan, but D
Oh,
Wade,
okay.
Miami Heat fan, you know what I'm saying? Then
Yeah.
LeBron obviously is the GOAT. Like my whole life he's been basketball, so I can't not be a LeBron fan. So it gets kind of hard to
Really?
like, like you said. So what is a music genre? You talk about pop. is there another music genre that you want to try and tap into, try and experiment with?
Um, I would say jazz, a little bit of jazz.
Ooh.
I really love jazz music, man. Like that's like my thing. That's what I turn on in the morning to like really get my day started. I usually am into like lo-fi stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
same.
love how they set the mood. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And jazz, I always think about like one of those like smaller jazz bars where people sitting in those seats and they up there playing like the cello and
Oh
somebody's
yeah, and
playing.
the music is soft. You got someone smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes in the back.
You feel me? Like that's really my mood. I love that. Like I've always wanted to really tap into like jazz or even just go to a jazz event. I've been to a couple, but I love that setting. I love the mood that it creates. So that yeah, for sure, jazz. If I could, you know, I don't know if that's something I
Hey,
can
maybe
really
I just
touch.
gave you a couple of ideas to hit into the studio. Hey,
Right.
little
I might have to
jazz.
throw some sax on a beat or something. We'll
I'm
see.
saying. So to end off the interview, right? I always know that people watching this are always following their dreams, and they watch my show hopefully because they want to connect with other people that are following their dreams. But behind the Instagram pictures, it's kind of hard to see you as a real person and see that you've actually gone through
Right.
things and obstacles and tribulations to make you who you are today. So, what are 3 lessons that you've learned that you want to share and impart to another person trying to follow their dreams or chase whatever they're trying to chase?
Right. I would say learn to love your family more than you love anything else. Because I think when I was younger, I took my family for granted a little bit. And I think once you get to a certain age, you start to appreciate your family more than anything. Because you
Right.
like these are the people that I grew up with, that I'm the most comfortable with, that I could talk to about anything, that I'm willing to die for, that I'm willing to do anything for. So I think just appreciate your family. I would say to learn that, I guess. Um, just because I had to. That's something I had to learn, was to appreciate the people around you who really want to see you win the most. So I would say that for sure. A big thing that I think I learned that I would love for other people to understand is sometimes you have to do things for free to benefit you later on down the
Mm.
line. Especially in the music world and kind of the world that I'm in. I think that people have to understand to become something, you have to go through those hard times. Like
Right.
there's no way that you're gonna make it trying to cheat the system. You might you might catch a couple W's on the way, but at the same time, like you're always going to get smacked by the world. The world is
Right.
not just going to let you cheat the system. And so I think that starting from the bottom, starting from a humble beginning, whether that's at your home life, starting from humble beginnings, coming from hard life, or when you talk about music, like when you start from the ground up, you're not trying to get in the stew with, like, you're not just jumping in the stew with certain people or this and that. You really start from the bottom and really learning yourself and learning your craft. I think that's why I say um, I want people to learn, kind of like start doing things for free, even if it's, because you got to put in so you can get
Right.
out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like even from a producer standpoint, if you're not like, why are you trying to charge $300 when you first starting out for some exclusives and nobody knows you? Not that you
Right.
couldn't start from that point, but what I'm saying is, it's like you're going to appreciate it more when you put that hard work in, that grind, the things that other people don't want to do. That's what separates them from you. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're willing to do the hard things that nobody else wants to do. Nobody wants to just do things for free. But at the same time, you learn to appreciate and you learn the skills that it takes to get to where these people that's getting paid for it actually end up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
That's just from what I've noticed with the music game. Is like, man, like people got to start doing stuff for free off the strength, just to build a connection or network. Those are good
Right.
opportunities. If you're trying to charge somebody $400, they might not even let you in the room, because it's like, like this dude willing to do it for free, put in the grind, and he might be just as good as you. You feel me? Who are you? I guess is something that you should look in the mirror and ask yourself. So um, that's lesson number 2. For number 3, um, I really want to make this one like make sense.
Mm-hmm.
3, I would say change your environment.
Yeah.
Uh, changing your environment is huge. Like especially for what I went through, because I ended up changing my environment not too long ago. And not only did I learn so many things about myself, but I learned a lot about things outside of myself, like the world that we live in and
Right.
the troubles that we deal with are not just the world that we're sitting in those moments. There's a whole world out here. There's people that live their own lives that you'll never meet a day in your life. And they're living a completely different life. And there's just so much more to the world than just the world that you live in front of you. You know, I used to walk out the same door every day for 18 years. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right,
like, well,
exactly.
not necessarily 18 years specifically, but I'm just saying it's like when I was younger, you would just walk out the same doors and see the same people and go to the same schools. And you think that that's your life. And you think that that's what the rest of your life is going to hold, the same streets, the same street lights, the same restaurants. And it's like, bro, that's not what life really is.
Right.
Life and the world around you is like what situations you put yourself in. You know what I'm saying? Like leaving and going to LA or leaving and going to New York. I've seen so many different opportunities, new different worlds, bro. It's just so crazy how if you leave your environment and put yourself in something new, how inspirational it really is. So I would say definitely changing your environment is like huge for anybody trying to be inspired or trying to become something successful. Definitely try and leave the environment that you're in because you could definitely get comfortable in that situation.
Nah, and I definitely attest to that too, because like just being in different environments, like you said, like you go outside and you see that these are streets is showing on, and I think it also makes you think that that's just what the rest of the world is like. Like
Right.
the rest of the world is not like the Bronx. The rest of the world is not like where everyone else is growing up, right? Like someone else is going out through their doors 18 years of their life, and that's all they know. But it's a drastically different reality than what you got going on. So it's definitely
Right.
a beautiful transfusion of cultures and identities when, like you said, you go to another place and you allow yourself to be literally culture shocked by the newness, the freshness, and the variety of the realities out there. So thank you definitely for pointing that out, because I think a lot of people get caught up in their own heads of what things should be, how they should be, and only harping on what they know, what they've been taught.
Right,
So
for sure.
but yo, thank you, Lawrence, for amazing interview, man. It was great talking with you. Like your music, your soul, your energy is just pure, radiant, positive energy, man. And I know in my heart of hearts, and this is not just me as someone that's interviewing you because I actually come on the show, but someone who genuinely listens to your music and knows that you are someone that is on the come up and on the next rise up. So I'm glad that I was able to interview at this stage in your journey, because when you're making money, that just means I can call you up and say, hey, Lawrence, remember that time when I interviewed you, man?
Right. You know the connection already made, bro.
Right.
And vice versa, bro. I appreciate you, man. That's love for sure.
So you guys can check out my boy Lons on Instagram at 2pb.lons, Lons. Check him out on YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify at Lons. Check out his newest single, making sure I got the name right. Newest single, Endless Drink, and check out all his other singles so you guys can be caught up and ready for when new music drops later half of this year and possibly that EP, maybe even a jazz song. Hey guys, it's Kickin with Kachi. Check out this interview at the DC Voice on Instagram and YouTube. And we are out of here. Peace.